live. Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing today?
Oh, hopefully we have a better show this week than we did last week.
I was going to say it can't get worse, but I'm not invoking Murphy's Law on that.
Yeah, let's not do that. That does not seem like it ends well for anyone involved. So, good evening. All right, we got a lot to go over. First of all, last week's show will be coming up. I'm still editing it down. So, but just so you guys know that we are still planning on doing it. So, just FYI, hope everybody's enjoying it. Other than that, just checking on things. Things appear to be going well. We appear to be online, which is definitely better than where we were last week. So,
if everything's all coming through audio-wise and all that good stuff.
As far as I know, but I'll leave that to the people in the chat. So,
please let us know if you can't hear us again.
Yeah, right.
Want to squish that bug before we start the show?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right.
Hopefully nobody summons the demon from the fifth circle of hell this time, because...
We're coming in clear and loud, which is good.
Good.
Alrighty then. So, yes, we've got quite a bit to go over. All right, I've got docs up. You've got docs up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we're ready.
Probably about as ready as we're going to be.
So, yeah. Let's get all that ready to go. All right. I've got the got my recording software open.
Good.
And just to check the sound level. All right, we're good on sound.
All
right. Aramis is coming in a little under Benson, but nothing crazy. I can boost your audio, though.
Yeah, probably doesn't need to be too much.
Not terribly, but yeah, go ahead and talk. Let me see how...
I am making words with my mouth.
Yes, and so am I. Okay, good. And not for nothing, Johnny, but let's face it, I'm the one you want to hear anyway.
Probably, yeah.
I'm the talent, really. Aramis is just the knowledge.
Wouldn't that be the talent?
No. I bring the funny and the laughs and the alcohol.
Oh, that's what you call it.
Yes. So
funny. I thought it was more like whimpering and crying.
Well, no, that's only, it's only after the Dolphins yesterday, but let's not discuss that.
Carolina lost too, so I'm not terribly pleased about that either. But the fact that there's actually football is totally fine.
It's just, for now.
I'll enjoy it while it lasts.
Yes.
And if it shuts down, I won't be surprised. Bills are 1-0. It makes me happy.
Yeah, that's true. So, you're a Bills fan now? Bandwagon.
Well, I grew up in Western New York, so I followed the Bills until Carolina got a team.
Uh-huh.
And then my mom liked the Bills, so I thought, they've always been kind of like my number two. So
bandwagon much? Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Not really, no. I was there for all 4 Super Bowls.
Uh-huh.
I left after that.
Oh, of course, a lot of people did. All right, let's get this road on the show. All right, I'm gonna start us off here. So, got your Audacity open?
Audacity's open. Just double checking my inputs. Those seem to be fine.
Okay, I'm ready too. So, all right, let's start this thing in. Oh, you know what? I am pegging that board. I'm gonna pull mine back just a bit.
You got your beer?
Check. Wow, it doesn't really alter this freaking. Oh, that's great. That's gonna not be hard at all to figure out if I'm pegging the board or not. Actually, I think I've got my gain up. Yeah, that's the problem. Gain is all the way down. All right, that's better. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right.
Can you hear me? Do you got your beer?
I got beer.
Okay.
I always have beer.
None of that crazy 12% crap, right?
No.
Okay.
That just ended horribly for everybody.
I'm blaming that for everything else.
No. Tuesday was just Tuesday. This is why we don't do shows on Tuesday.
They both start with T, so it's the beer's fault.
All right. Let's start this bad boy in 3, 2, 1. Click. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the PlanesTalkers podcast, a show by casuals for casuals. I'm your host, Will Benson, joined as always by my, the Carolina Panthers lost really bad, but so did the Dolphins co-host, Aramis Perez. Aramis, how are you tonight, sir?
At least the Panthers had a lead at some point during the game. They blew it in the fourth, but they had a lead. Damn it.
Yeah, my guys suck. My team is just it's hot garbage. So might as well get going with the untap, upkeep, and draw. Yeah, that Dolphins are just absolute crap.
Well, don't feel too bad. Carolina's not supposed to do anything either, so whatever.
Well, how is that different from any other? Never mind. You guys.
Hey, they've made it to a Super Bowl at least in my lifetime.
Shut up. Hey, they made it to Super Bowl in my lifetime. They went undefeated the year before my lifetime. Don't forget, I was born in 1973, sir.
Oh, you just missed the good
Just missed it. So
just missed the good.
Yeah, I was alive for the.
Your team has a win though. They got a ring. Mine's 0-2, but they've been there twice. So
yeah, I was alive for the Steelers years. So unfortunately,
Patriots for me.
Yeah.
For the most part.
So
yeah, Cowboys too.
Yeah, well, you know how that is. All right, so we are in Untapped. Let's start. Before we do anything, I want to remind you guys that this episode of the PlanesTalkers podcast, and every episode, is sponsored by Kerwin's Game Store. Kerwin's Game Store is New York State's premier source for collectible card games, tabletop games, miniatures, comic books, retro video games, and toys. With their clean, open gaming areas available to everyone at no charge, someday we hope. Kerwin's provides a fun and inviting atmosphere for new and experienced gamers alike. With locations in both Catskill, New York, and now the second floor of the Poughkeepsie Galleria in Poughkeepsie, New York, Kerwin's Game Store is the best place in gaming. They do have a great new streamlined website. You can find them at KGS Online. That's KiteGoSamuelOnline.com. Don't forget, you can get 5% off any online order when you use the promo code PlanesTalkers2020 at checkout. We also want to recognize our Planeswalker level patrons, Matt, Johnny, Bell, Anthony, Steve, Ian, Walter, George, Josh, Jonathan, Dave, and Zach, and Brian. Thank you very much, you guys, for everything you do. They've come along us at the $5 a month level. And
did you get all that in on one breath?
I did, actually. So they really have helped us. We're going to be setting up our quarterly call here in a couple of weeks. We like to bring our Planeswalker patrons in, and we do a quick Zoom call to be like, what do you think of the show? What can we be improving? So if you want to be a part of that or find out what else you can get, just go to patreon.com/Planestalkers. And we are in Untap, so that means I must untap. And tonight I'm untapping Longboard Island Lager. It's a beautiful thing. It's not harsh at all, which is good because harsh is bad. I got a little touch of the agita today. But Aramis, how the hell are you?
Drinking something at the
moment.
Yeah,
I waited till the right moment for that.
Yeah, exactly. My wife does the same thing when I'm eating. She waits to ask a question until I have a mouthful of food.
Mine waits till I'm sleeping. And she's like, oh, let's talk. Let's have this very long conversation. And I'm like,
Can I do this? And by your lack of response makes it think that it's okay? Sure. Great. Awesome. I'm doing good. Stopped by our sponsor today and picked up some singles. So
you did. How was it?
Not bad. Stores looking good. I know they want people to come back in, but it's just not time yet.
Yeah.
I picked up some various guild signets and some couple of soul rings so I can build some more commander decks, improve the ones that I have. Picked up a couple of Pokemon packs for my son because he's starting to get into that a little bit.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Hey, got a nice card out of it. Got like a $20 ultra rare. It was pretty cool. The foils on the Pokemon cards are really nice. That's a quick tangent. They're really pretty. The glossy and the etching and all that good stuff. But doing good. Looking forward to our broadcast on Wednesday, Commander Craft.
Yes.
Hope you guys don't miss that.
Why do you have a new deck?
I don't have a new deck. Remember, I am obligated and bound by requests of the other players to play Athreos again. So that will be coming back.
I don't know what I'm going to play this week.
I am hoping to now that I have a couple more Soul Rings and a couple of the Signets to build a couple more decks. So that way I have a little more variety to the show. Because right now all I have that's built is Athreos and Admiral Beckett Brass. And the Pirate deck's not like competitive.
You took apart the other one? The Black-Red?
For pieces, yeah. I mean, a lot of it's still together. I can put it back together if I want to, but for the most part, I'm really liking blowing up the world.
You really do, you son of a bitch. Did you put Doom Foretold in there too?
No, it actually doesn't really. I mean, I like blowing everything up, not just little pieces here and there.
Yes, but
Why
then
go
it comes
tactical when you could just end there.
Yes, but doesn't all your stuff come back from? What's the card that brings them all back?
That's Dance of the Manse, with enchantments and whatnot.
Yeah, but
if I was going with creatures and stuff, I do like Living Death, but I don't own one anymore. So
So yeah. Yeah, we had a week. So episode 72 or 73 is going to come out, like I said earlier. We just it's still being edited. That was a pardon the French, that was a shit show.
That one hurt.
Yeah, it's requiring quite a bit of editing, but this will probably come out first. So but hey, I am putting out Ride Homes with Will. So
Well, and you know what? I mean, this is our 74th episode. Other than episode 0 and episode like 1 and 2, I would say most of them have been fairly smooth. So
yeah.
We got to lay an egg at some point. I guess it had to be last week.
Yeah, so sorry about that. It was just technical issue after technical issue. So, and now I've realized that
Tuesday.
If I hold my head like this, you can see the green screen through my glasses. Like I need to
yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to start wearing my contacts.
If I hold my head like this, my head starts getting cut off.
And you see my and you see my ring lights. So yeah, we probably I shouldn't be wearing my glasses, huh?
Yeah. Anyway. But I can't even see anything without my glasses, so it's not an option for me.
That's why I have contacts, my friend. That's why I have contacts. So
been there, done that, hated them.
Yeah, we had a week. The boy starts school. He was supposed to start school today remotely. We got a letter last week that says, "Okay, remote students are starting Wednesday." We're like, "What?" So he's literally just sitting around. Luckily at his dad's. So we're gonna hang out, and Wednesday he's here, and we start online lessons. And how's Allie like going to school?
We were worried that he wouldn't get back on the bus because we had a really hard time with that last year. He's starting first grade this year, and he almost forgot to give us hugs on the way to the door. It was great. He was ready to go. We already got a progress report from his teacher. He's doing fantastic. I'm really proud of him.
So what are you doing with yourself?
Well, today my wife and I went for a really long walk across the Hudson River on the Rip Van Winkle Bridge. We walked around downtown Catskill, New York, and tomorrow we're gonna just kind of chill out for a bit. She's on vacation this week.
Oh, I didn't know she's on vacation.
Yep, she took this week off just in case school turned into a dumpster fire, which it could have, and it didn't, thankfully. But he's home.
Knock on wood. Yeah.
Knock on wood. We're kind of expecting another shutdown at some point.
Right.
They're actually doing the way they're doing it at school in our district is it's either full-time in school or full-time remote. No in between.
Yeah, we have hybrid.
You're either riding the bus every day or you're not. So he's going on the bus. He's in school. They are going to be having him home this Wednesday and 2 Wednesdays from now to practice the at-home learning just in case everything gets shut down again, so they can do load testing and everything else. They're preparing for this stuff. So I like that they're being thorough and doing what they can. He's wearing his mask. It's a weird new kind of normal for him. He's not allowed to really visit his friends during lunch and things like that. It's kind of strange, but he's in his element, going into school, having a routine. So he's doing well. And then, like I said, he's just started. He got into Pokemon cards a little bit, so I'm gonna play that with him until he can figure out what banding means, which I haven't yet.
Yeah, nobody knows what that means, or party, but but yeah, no, we're kind of excited. For us here, like it's either hybrid or fully remote. They're not doing anybody on site all week, which is kind of like, I'm kind of like, that kind of sucks, but okay. Matthew went totally remote. Because he's like, with the health issues for his mom and his dad, that he's like, you know what, I don't even want to risk it. But it's funny because my oldest son, is a student at Oswego, and that's a dumpster fire right now. Oswego, but he's also fully remote. He was smart enough to be like, I'm not even gonna risk it. And
smart.
Yeah, well, I could have told you. Like, I went to that college, like, and my wife and I were talking. We're like, okay, so if it was us and we went back to school, we went back to campus, and they're like, okay, you can't meet with your friends off campus, you can't go to parties, you can't do this. I'm like, we would break that. She'd be like, we would have broke that rule in like 6 seconds. I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't have even taken long. And yeah, so, I gotta admit, I'm like, listen, college kids, they have absolutely no concept of mortality whatsoever. And no, they're like, especially Greek people, like, not to be stereotypical. I shouldn't be stereotypical.
The fraternities and sororities.
Yeah. Like, it's really hard for a fraternity or sorority not to get together when that's kind of the business you're in. So, yeah, Oswego's struggling.
I think every college is struggling to a certain degree.
Oneonta, they shut right the hell down.
Yeah,
but
you see these parties at like Florida State. You see these parties in other campuses. NYU had a huge party that the police had to shut down. I mean, I know this is kind of a huge tangent from what we're supposed to be talking about,
right.
But a lot of our listeners probably go to college
or have kids who go to college. Or
if you go to college, you have kids who go to college. Please, just try to be responsible. I know other people have problems doing it, but just do your part at the very least.
Or do what I do, which is I believe alcohol kills the germs. So just drink more.
They tried that in Russia. It didn't work out so well for them.
I'm not so sure about that. I think it's working great. We haven't had Corona here, and I drink quite a bit. No. So anyway, moving on. All right. But let's go to the upkeep portion of our show. Here's what we're going to talk about tonight. We want to talk a little bit about the sealed possibilities this week. We like to do this, like preview what your sealed decks could be, what cards would really help you. We're then going to pivot from that into what we're going to miss post-rotation, because rotation triggers a week from Friday. So
yes.
I do believe, though, new cards come in on Arena like tomorrow or Wednesday.
Thursday.
Thursday? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. And our combat is going to be, or was this last week's?
That was last week's.
Yeah, so we don't have a combat yet. Main 2, we're going to talk about Mythic Invitational. We're going to talk about the whoopsie that happened yesterday. Update you guys on where we're at on our personal historic tournament. And then we'll back it on out of here. So that's our show tonight. And why don't we get right into main phase?
Main phase.
All right, welcome to main phase. So Zendikar Rising, what we've always done, I mean, when we started this show, you and I, we were right before Ravnica Allegiance.
Yes.
And we always kind of, right before pre-release was, I think, our first episode. And we've always kind of been like, so how do you prepare for this sealed tournament? Now, most listeners out there, you're not going to have an online or an on-site sealed. Pre-release events are kind of not happening at all. At least in New York State, I don't believe. Some places are doing it. I know of a few stores in the area, my area, that are going to try it. Me, on the other hand, hey, Margraves, what's up? But for the most part, pre-release is not exactly what it used to be. However, that doesn't mean you can't do pre-release. In fact, I'm going to call an audible here, Aramis, and say that perhaps Friday night, if we can get our hands on, if we can get our pre-release decks, we could either play paper, you and I. Mm-hmm. Oh, we should. That's what we'll do. All right. I don't know what you're doing Friday night if you're busy. I'm busy Saturday. I'm going drinking with friends. But Friday, yes, because we're in a pandemic, and damn it, I'm going out with my friends. Yeah, you know what? I might be part of the problem.
No, it's all your fault, Benson.
It's kind of funny. I have friends that we kind of decided that we're still going to maintain really good social distancing, except with each other. Like, we see each other. We don't really go, and we don't have 1,000 friends we hang out with. It's like we this other couple and us, we get together every couple of weeks, and I'm like, that helps. So, but I think Friday night, you and I are talking about going down because we both pre-ordered from Kerwin's. So I think we're both going to go down, and I'd love to. Let's go down and get a pre-release kit, build our decks Friday afternoon, and then, Friday evening, let's play online. And if any of our listeners want to join us, we'll find some way to make that work through the Discord. Maybe we'll build tables and run an actual tournament. Well, there's no reason why we can't. So
yeah. That could be a possibility. I don't think I have anything going on Friday night. I mean, I can always double check and clear it if that's the case. I mean, I would love to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking paper. We're not talking. So go to your local game store, get a pre-release pack.
Yes.
Get a kit. So, because we're not just talking Arena, because Arena, it'll work, but there's something to. Yeah,
it's not the same.
You crushed my ass last time, if I remember correctly. It was not even. I am the worst at limited ever. I'm pretty much the worst. Like Helen Keller, the little girl who was stranded up in the attic. Wait, what?
You had Ugin,
I had Ugin.
and I destroyed you.
And Helen Keller, that little girl in the attic in Germany during World War II, she would not have been able to play any better.
That's not.
To say nothing of Anne Frank, the deaf, dumb, and blind girl. But
you got it. You got it.
my wife will tell you, just as an aside, I always do that on purpose because somebody used to do it. Like I knew somebody that would do it, and I just found it hysterical that they would reverse that, and I'd be like, so I mean, I was one time delivering. I used to be studying to be a pastor, and I was delivering a sermon, and I did that.
I think you punched your ticket to hell that night.
No. I've always, and to me, it's my own personal joke. I'm the only one who finds it funny. I get that. My wife occasionally finds it funny, but because she finds the consistency funny because she knows I know better, but she knows I do it anyway. It's kind of like when I say, "Let's get this road on the show."
Yeah,
Like it's just, to me, it's funny. I mean, what happened to Anne Frank is horrible, and nobody, but the Helen Keller, I don't know why, but a lot of people get those two confused, and it's always amazed me. So, did I just say always amaze me?
something like that.
Literally, wrote...
You sure that's not a 12?
Damn,
or
it's only a
triple?
5.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm literally just that guy. So
you're just a lightweight tonight. I got it.
I'm just... No, dude, it's not even a 5. It's a 4.6.
Oh God, you're like a 0-1 that got shocked.
Like, this is like Coors Light level. But
the bird, Jesus.
Literally, I'm insane. But in any event, I'm the worst at limited. Like, if Ray Charles was trying to play Magic, he would kick my ass. Okay? And again, I know he's no longer with us. Also, Stevie Wonder.
Well, he never saw that coming anyway.
Wow. That just... Dude.
By the way, newsflash to our audience, I have a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, don't get me started on Helen Keller jokes. How did her parents punish her? Put doorknobs on all the walls, stomp on her bro books with their golf shoes.
Oh, God.
Oh, we could go for a while. Not any of it is appropriate. We're going to stop this now.
We get canceled so fast.
Yeah. We've just lost our sponsorship. We're being sponsored by the... Yeah, no. All right, moving on. By the way, this segment is sponsored by Mr. Holland's Opus. Anyway.
Wow.
Oh, this got dark. All right, let's talk about Sealed.
Cards! Yay! Oh, boy.
Oh, that just happened. Oh my God, my brain hurts.
All right. Yeah, little pieces of cardboard with, they do the thing when you play the game. Wow.
They, luxury cardboard rectangles, or however the hell that guy says it.
Delicious cards.
Yes.
Cards.
So let's talk a little bit about, so when you're, like we say every time, but we're going to go back through it again. So you're going to get a pre-release pack, and what you don't know if you're playing Sealed is that the pre-release pack contains 6 sealed booster packs of Zendikar Rising in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And it also contains 1 promo card.
Yes, which could be any rare or mythic in the set.
Right. Usually foil, it's always foil, and it's always stamped.
Yep.
Now, the first rule I should tell you of pre-release is this. Yes, you get a foil stamped rare or mythic. No, you don't always want to play it.
It's like any other rare in your sealed pool. It may be awesome. It could be Animal Sanctuary. Which is actually good in some decks I've found, but I hate that card.
Oh yeah, it's just I opened 3 pre-release packs and 2 of them had it.
I remember that. And, oh God, you're like, wait, because we got the same one.
Yeah,
we got the same. We got the same promo, and I was like, oh God, this is a terrible card. I mean, it's got its uses, and it's sort of a commander thing, but it's like in like sealed or standard. Yeah.
So, I mean, this was really a point when they were doing the Guilds and Ravnica Allegiance pre-release boosters, because there was nothing worse than buying the theme booster or the theme pre-release pack.
Yeah.
and one of your 6 packs was, one of the guilds, your promo was guaranteed to be one of the guilds, and the rest of the packs were completely random, and so you were actually probably down to 5 because very rarely did your Gruul pack interact very well with the other cards in your set.
Yeah, you usually had to dip into a third color, or even sometimes abandon your chosen guild to complete.
I did once. I had to go to Zorius when it was Gruul. I had Gruul, and I bought the Gruul pack, and I'm like, this is the most powerful, and I got really decent cards. And then I opened all the Zorius, and I'm like, fudge. So
that could happen. That's the one downside of it being completely random, is that you're like, oh, look at these great cards, and I have nothing I can do with them.
Yeah. So by all means, remember that, first of all, is that the cards you get may not be able to help you.
Nope. One thing I'll say about Zendikar Rising that I think is going to be very good for players, if one of your rares or mythics is one of the dual-faced cards, you have done very well, because they're all pretty good on their own as the card. And if nothing else, they're going to be a land for you, which allows you to play one fewer land and have the option of a spell later on. So I think that's going to be something really good for Limited.
Agreed. So you want to look through your packs, and what I tend to do is I open my pack and I separate by color first. So I'm like, green, red, blue, black, purple, orange, whatever. Separate them out by colors, and then I and by rarity.
By the rarity?
Yeah. So, like, top row will be, like, my mythics and rares, and my middle row will be the uncommons, and the bottom row will be commons. And I do that because I want to be like, okay, what do I have the most of? And what do I have the most rares and mythics of? And what do they work together? And how does this work? You have to kind of try to build it to that. And then, you have to know a little bit about the set. I mean, listen, when you and I first started playing, they did not spoil the way they do now.
No, not at
all. Like, you'd roll into a pre-release going, I have no idea what I'm going to do tonight.
Yep, I remember my very first pre-release was the Invasion pre-release back in 2000. I believe they had spoiled most of the set by the time it started, but I hadn't seen a lot of it.
Right.
So, and then also, too, the pre-release card was in Latin, which was awesome, by the way.
Okay.
Which was freaking cool. It was a Raging Cowboy. I wish I still had it. But, you're opening the cards and you're like, holy crap, 3-color rare dragons? Okay, wait, what does this card do? What the hell does this card do? Oh my god. And now you're like, oh, we've already broken down all the metagame archetypes and blah, 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 blah. You want 2 of these, 1 of these. If you don't get this, you're not playing this deck. And it's like, all right. But you still do get the chance to open up your cards and say, all right, what juicy bits did I open? Do I have the cards that fit the themes? And so on and so forth.
Right. And I'm really not good at that.
You would be fine if I think what happens with you is that, one, you've always played 41 cards. And I know that's like a lucky thing for you. That's like a luck thing and like a superstition for you. And that's fine. But for the most part, when you're playing Limited, you want to stay, the minimum is 40 cards, and you really want to try to stay at 40.
Yes.
Because it just, for the most boring reason, it gives you the best chance to draw the cards you want.
Right.
It's a couple of percentage points either way if you go a couple cards over. But I would say most of the time, unless you're playing like a mill deck or playing against a mill deck, you're going to want to play 40 just because, it's that.
And mill is a real deck.
Puts down 79 card limited deck. Yes, please do not play every card that you open, because while you may have a great pool overall, you're never going to see all of them on a consistent basis. It's about the consistency. It's a pre-release in the end. You are there to have fun. I mean, if you are in a store to have fun, or even playing against friends, but you kind of want to win too. And this gives you the best chance. You have the best cards in your deck, and you kind of want to, like with this format, like if you open Omnath, Locus of Creation, I think it's going to be kind of hard to play him.
I don't think you can.
You can. It's just, it's going to be tough because
it depends on how much land you the dual land, what type of dual lands you.
You're going to need to open a lot of the duels, the double face cards, and luckily they go all the way down to uncommon, so you'll probably get a few. But I don't think that he's going to be super playable in this particular format. You're going to want 2 colors. You might possibly splash 1 or 2 cards in a third if they're really, really good. Like if your base red-green and you open a Nissa and you have nothing else in black, she's worth splashing for because she's really good.
Right. So just it's like that for me usually too. What's really funny is I end up building usually 2 decks,
which I find amazing. I can never do that.
Like, and usually I play the first deck thinking this is going to be the masterful freaking best deck ever, and I'm like, oh, this just sucks. And then I play my second deck, I'm like, wow.
Why wasn't I playing this 2 rounds ago?
Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those strange things. Yeah, remember the point is to have fun too. Yes. For me, I mean, I'm obviously going to look for some of the dual lands, but dual cards, the spell cards with lands on them. I mean, it's going to be tough to walk away from.
There's no reason not to play them.
No, not at all.
I don't say this while you're looking for cards. I will say this. I always find it very impressive that no matter what pool you open, you always seem to be able to build at least two decks. Sometimes I think I've seen 3 on at least one occasion where you've built out of your pool.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you may not be able to always get the most powerful, refined deck, but you are very good at seeing like the big picture and having big pieces of the puzzle put together.
Well, what I do is I swap it. I'll sit there and go, oh shit, I'm playing a card that's gonna, if I'm playing like, well, I started with, like I said, the Gruul deck, and I had an Azorius deck, and I ended up playing a guy who was playing he was playing Simic, because Simic, it was Simic, Gruul, Azorius in Allegiance, wasn't it? It was Simic, Gruul, Azorius, and Orzhov, wasn't it?
Orzhov was Allegiance. Azorius was Allegiance.
Simic was Allegiance. Yeah, and
Simic, and there was another one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was playing a Simic deck. The guy was playing a Simic. I'm playing Gruul, and it's like, well, I need like 7 turns to kind of get my things going. Right. So I switched to my Azorius, and I'm like, nope. Nope.
Yeah, and that's something, too, to keep in mind, too, when you guys are playing. Normally, if you're playing a constructed format, your sideboard is 15 cards that are pre-selected, from whatever. In Limited, whatever you don't play in your main deck is your sideboard. So you can, like Benson does, switch out your entire freaking deck between games in a match, and you could totally catch your opponent off guard because they're probably boarding in for Gruul, and all of a sudden you're playing Islands and Plains, and they're like, "What the hell just happened?"
I love the look on the face when that happens, and that's why I sleeve. I always bring my own lands, and I sleeve my whole deck. I'm like, I'm gonna sleeve all 6 decks or all 6 packs because I want to be able to just be like, nope. And you take things that are colorless, like I had Mana Fixing and Mana Rocks. For this set, the thing I mean, this is where I think Party is going to come in really good.
Oh, yeah.
I think Party is a great mechanic for Limited. I don't think it's going to see a lot of constructed play. But I think Limited, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Party mechanic, basically what that is there are spells and creatures in the set that look at the creature types you have in play. You can have up to 1 each of a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard, and you get scaling effects on those spells and creatures based on how many of those creatures you have in your party. Something to keep in mind, there are a few creatures in the set that are all 4 creature types, or 5 creature types in some cases. They only count for one part of it. So you can't have the one that's all 5 and have it count for the entire party. You still need 4 different creatures to do it. I kind of like how they did that, so you're not just building a super party deck with just a couple of guys that have all 5 creature types. It forces you to throw in different pieces and have parts of it be vulnerable.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know that I would recommend going unless you're going to try to build the full party. I don't recommend going tribal. Even though Dimir Rogue is pretty good in this set, it does need help from the other sets. Remember that this is just ZR.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good pieces, that's for sure.
There's a lot of great pieces, but I don't know that you have a finisher.
I think you'd have to open like all the rares.
Yeah. So, what about you? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, the Landfall deck.
Landfall is beautiful.
Landfall looks like obviously something you want to really take advantage of. So you're gonna want some green. There's some Landfall, I think, in all 5 colors because that's just how Zendikar works. If you can get Felidar Retreat, again, I know we mentioned this card last week. I think that card is going to be nuts in Limited because I don't know how much enchantment removal there is in the set. But if you manage to stick this and protect it for a few turns, I mean, you no longer have dead draws for the rest of the game.
Right.
Because either you make another creature or you make all of your creatures larger, and it just brings such a sense of inevitability to a game. This is probably one of the best limited cards in the set.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because it's an absolute bomb. Because it's Field of the Dead, and we all know how good Field of the Dead is. And the difference between this card and Field of the Dead is that you don't need 7 different named lands in order to get a token. You just need to start playing any old land you want.
Right. And so for those of you just checking out on the screen right now, Feldar Retreat, it's in a 3 colorless, 1 white enchantment. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose 1. Create a 2/2 white cat beast creature token, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance until end of turn. Welcome to my deck. Welcome to my Atraxa deck.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Not only does it make your team bigger, it makes your team vigilant, which means you can attack with impunity, not having to worry about the crackback. You know, if your opponent has a bunch of guys on the board, but they're all smaller than yours, you can send your entire team. You might lose a couple. They'll lose a whole heck of a lot more. If they don't block, they can't really attack you back because your dudes are all untapped.
Right. So there's definitely that. I guess, yeah, there's a lot of good bombs in this set. There's a lot of good bombs. You know, and that's just it. You do want to... It's real easy to build. A lot of people, like I tend to like to build low to the ground. Problem is, as Aramis will tell you, I will build a low to the ground deck that does, you know, pretty great stuff and does 10 damage by turn 3 or 4. Problem is, I don't have a finisher, usually. Like, make sure you're putting the bombs in there to finish. Don't just put out the, you know, hey, I've got a really good hasty deck full of red stuff and blah, blah, blah. Nope.
You want to be able to stick to a mana curve of some kind. You want to have, it's fine to have a bunch of low cost creatures. I mean, I don't know how, I haven't really taken a look at all the converted mana costs of the set. It seems like it might be a fairly aggressive set. So being low to the ground might be good. You definitely don't want to load your deck with like 7 or 8 cards that cost 6 or 7 mana, because you're never going to see them all, first of all. And you may not live to cast them all. You want to be able to have like a handful of 1s and 2s. That's going to be like the majority of your deck. Starting to go down on 3s, a couple of 4s, maybe a 5 or a 6, depending on how powerful they are. Like if you open Cherix, the Raging Isle, that's a great card. If you want to, and you want to try to be as mono blue as you can. It's a 0/17 for 2 and 2 blue. Yeah, I said 0/17. This thing's got the biggest butt in Magic. It's a legendary Leviathan Crab. Spells your opponents cast that target it cost 2 more to cast, so it's a little harder to get rid of. Plus, it has a giant butt. You pay 3, it gets plus X minus X on end of turn, where X is the number of islands you control. So if you're playing a lot of islands in this deck, you pay 3 mana, you could get plus 7 minus 7? That's a 7/10 creature. That's pretty big, pretty hard to get rid of.
All right. He's not wrong. So, you know, definitely be ready for that. Again, if you guys want to play Friday night, I think Aramis and I are gonna do a little stream in here, playing a little Paper Magic. So, try to find a way to do it. So definitely let us know. You know, but let's kind of pivot off of that. That's our usual there. Our hey, this is what you do for pre-release. Let's talk about the other thing we like to do, which is what are we gonna miss post rotation? So, as you all know, you know, Zendikar Rising is going to trigger rotation, and cards that are legal and standard now are basically going to rotate out the first 4 sets. A
whole bunch of them, yep.
So, Guilds of Ravnica, Ravnica Allegiance, War of the Spark, and Core 2020 are going to be gone. And only Throne of Eldraine, Theros Beyond Death, Ikoria, and Core 21, and then Zendikar Allegiance are going to be legal and standard. So we like to talk about the cards we think, you know, that are we're going to miss. So, you know, I'm still amazed that we've gone a year without a lightning strike. So I'm still surprised we don't have that in standard.
I don't know when we're going to see that again.
I don't know. I don't think they like it anymore. I don't know why. Don't tell me they were blaming Lightning Strike for the Amonkhet Red, because that's bullshit.
Well, I mean, like they printed in a braid in Zendikar that costs 3 mana, and you look at it and you're like, we just had a braid 2 or 3 years ago. Why are we getting this. Yeah, that one costs 2. This one costs 3 and does the exact same thing. Although I think maybe that can hit any. This one can hit any target instead. Okay. But it's like that's still worse.
So they're trying to nerf burn, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to succeed. Yeah. Mono red doesn't go anywhere.
So cards we're going to miss. Like for me, first of all, the one card that I'm going to miss, believe it or not, Niv Mizzet.
Yeah,
that card was fun. I'm sorry, that card was a barrel of fun.
For those of you who forgot, Niv Mizzet is a legendary dragon for 3 blue and 3 reds, 5/5 flyer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you drew a card. And whenever you drew a card, Niv Mizzet Power Rune did 1 damage to any target.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Oh, and it also couldn't be countered.
Yeah, so...
And that card showed up in a few different decks, and it was one of those cards that if you managed to cast it and untap with it, because it was hard to cast. 3 blue, 3 red is actually a lot harder than it looks. If you managed to cast it and untap with it, I would say at least 7 out of 10 times, you won that game. Hands down.
Yeah.
That thing just took over games by itself because it was just insane.
So what about you? What's one that you think you're going to miss?
I'm going to miss 10.
You're going to miss what?
I'm missing 10 cards.
Yeah, give me one of them. Jeepers.
I have to group them all in. I'm going to miss the Shocklands.
We're all going to miss the Shocklands.
I mean, it's the obvious one, but having really good mana in a standard format is always nice. I prefer the ability to play multicolored decks. I know Wizards kind of is like, oh, we don't want it to be too easy. Okay, but it's so nice to be able to have a dual land that can come in untapped. The Zendikar lands are sort of kind of that, but there's like Benson's saying, there's a bigger price tag attached to it, and the fact that you have to make the decision in the moment.
Right.
You need black now. You might not need red now, but then you might need red later, but you've already chosen black. So that's the sacrifice you make with the new lands. Whereas with the shock lands, you're like, I'm just gonna take 2 damage.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it was really rare to say, if I put the shock land in on tap, I'm dead.
Yeah.
It happens.
I'm gonna miss the Shocklands. That's just obvious.
I'm hoping that they, they're gonna finish this cycle of new lands with Kaldheim, and that's gonna be great. I am hoping that at some point in the future we either see like the Pain lands return, or maybe not the Shocklands. It'd be nice if the Fetch lands came back. If there was some other way they could fix the original duels. I mean, powerful dual lands are great. They're going to always go into every format. They're always the cards you're going to want to get first, because if you have good mana, you can have a good deck.
Right.
So, I'm really going to miss the Shocklands being able to play 3 colors with minimal drawback. I mean, because the Triomes are fine. We only have the enemy colors. They come in tapped. So, it's going to be a little harder to get away with 3 colors now than it was,
right,
last week.
Another one I'm going to miss. Expansion Explosion.
Oh yeah. Because you really liked Is It Phoenix?
I really loved Is It Phoenix. And surprisingly, that was going to be the next card on my list, was Arclight Phoenix. Yeah, Is It Phoenix was always fun for me. I just it's not just that. In the rec deck, that was a great finisher.
Oh yeah.
It's like, wait, let me get this straight. I can tap for 20? Okay.
Deal 20, draw 20.
Yeah.
So if I don't kill you with the damage, I can deck you.
Yes. So, yay.
I'm gonna go back to my roots here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna miss. Maybe I am gonna miss. I'm very conflicted.
Jesus, make up your mind.
Well, you'll understand when I say the card.
Okay.
Thought Erasure. When you play Thought Erasure, it's the best card in the world. When you play against Thought Erasure, you want to punch the guy in the face.
I will not miss Thought Erasure.
That's because you didn't play Thought Erasure.
I did too. I just hated the damn card.
I hated it too, but it was so good. It's a Thought Seize without having to pay life. It's extra mana, but it also helped you dig a little bit with your deck. It was such a good hand disruption card. It could help you filter your draws a little bit. It was really easy to cast on turn 2 with the Shocklands. And it was one of the things that helped Control stick around for a while. I mean, obviously Control's not really doing anything right now. Thought Erasure isn't the Sultai ramp deck, but yeah, it's one of those cards. It's very polarizing and conflicting. Like I said, like for a lot of people, they hated the card. I hated the card, but I liked as long as I was the one casting it, I didn't care.
Well,
once it was cast against me, it's like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other side of that, Thief of Sanity. That's one I'm not gonna miss.
Thief of Sanity was, oh man, that card won me some games that I shouldn't have won, because it's like, oh, I'm just gonna poke you for 2 here. Let's see what's on top of your. Oh, really, Lyra? I don't mind if I'll take that very much. Thank you. I'll cast that right here. Thank you very much. So good to steal your opponent's stuff. Although I'm not gonna miss an Agent of Treachery.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was gonna be like, the stuff that they've already taken out, kind of
the stuff that's banned. Yeah, like I'm not gonna talk about Teferi because he's already gone.
Yeah. You know what I'm not going to miss either? We're going to miss and not miss. I'm not going to miss Feather.
I really didn't see enough Feather to really... I think I'll miss Feather only because I felt like her time in the sun was far too short.
Yes.
That deck was around for like literally 15 seconds before, it got either meta adjusted or just other stuff came up that was better. We saw a Feather deck last week that, it was 2 weeks ago where it tried to do something, but it's kind of hard to do something when your commander costs 21 mana.
Right. And then, of course, it's hard to talk about the current set and uncommon planeswalkers.
Narset
and Teferi. Well,
Teferi was a rare.
Oh, Teferi was a rare, you're right. But those two were warping.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll miss them a little bit. I will, especially Narset.
Narset was good. I mean, Narset was restricted in Vintage.
Yes.
I mean, that tells you something. You know how hard it is to get restricted in Vintage. I mean, obviously the companions got, or somebody got banned in Vintage. What got banned in Vintage? I forget. But there was a banning in Vintage. But anyway, Narset getting restricted in Vintage, that's hard to do. I mean, and it was everywhere in Vintage. But you know what Planeswalker I am not going to miss?
I bet I do. I bet I do. I bet I can. I'm going to put it right up on the screen. You don't even have to say it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to see if you got it right.
I think it starts with an N.
Yeah, Nissa, who wins the game. I am not going to miss that card at all. That was the biggest thing about the really big, nasty plane, like the Narsets, the Teferis, the Nissas. It's, you cast that card, the opponent literally has that turn to win the game. Otherwise, it's usually over. I mean, you can kill Nissa, but it was so hard to deal with her. I mean, I only ever saw her ultimate a couple of times because the games never really lasted that long.
Yeah, and Margraves is saying die.
Yeah, die. I mean, between that card, I'll miss Hydroid Krasis.
And that's what I have next on the screen. I'm going to miss Hydroid.
That card, remember, I completely misevaluated that card when
it
first came out. I thought it was going to be too expensive to be any good. But I said, if you cast it for a large enough amount of mana, okay, it's great. But I didn't see how even casting it for like one or just for 2 or 4 would be so good. And it's just an insane card. I will miss it because it was a powerhouse, absolute powerhouse. Because even if you answered it right away, it got you a bunch of cards, it got you a bunch of life. And I think that's the problem that we see with a lot of the new big creatures these days, is that if they don't immediately do something, I mean, you look at Uro, you look at Questing Beast, you look at Hydroid Krasis. If they don't do something right away to impact the board, they're quote unquote not good enough. I mean, look at Elder Gargaroth.
Yeah, that
card it's on its face, power level, it's nuts. But because it doesn't have haste or it doesn't do something when it enters the battlefield, it's not good enough. But if you manage to attack with that thing, it's crazy, but it never lives that long.
No. Yeah, I'm going to miss Hydroid. I'm going to miss, Simic Flash. I'm going to miss the 3 things that made that deck run, which were, the Cutthroat, the Ambusher, and the Mystic. Just busted.
Don't forget the Spectral Sailor.
Yeah, that deck was so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I hated that deck.
I had a good time with it. I liked it a lot.
Teferi ate your lunch, though.
Yeah, Teferi would end my day.
Mm-hmm.
You know
what card I know that you won't miss?
Yarok.
I wasn't going to say Yarok. I was going to say Dovin's Veto.
Oh, I won't miss that. And I definitely won't miss Yarok.
Yarok, man, Yarok could. I wish there had been more Yarok decks because it's a panharmonicon on a stick, and it was really good. And it's just it didn't fit with what Sultai wanted to do. They're like, why cast Yorick when you can cast Hydroid, Krasis, and Nissa and Uro?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna definitely miss my mono red, and obviously things are gonna replace it. Yeah. But losing, I'm sorry, Steamkin was a great card. It was
so cool. I loved Steamkin. Runaway Steamkin was it's a red card through and through.
Yeah, and
it's just the fact that it started out small, and it was sort of impulsive. Anytime you did stuff, it got bigger, and then you could sort of take a little off the top, get some extra mana, keep going, fire off a Goblin Chain Whirler. Oh, that was 2 standards ago. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm just happy, very happy that Mayhem Devil's going away. So, bye. Yeah. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. So, yeah. I mean, so that's kind of like us just kind of poking around on standard stuff. We're gonna miss, stuff we're not. Murmuring Mystic going out of the standard is gonna be an adjustment a bit.
Assassin's Trophy. That card, could have done something. Ended up being good in older formats, but in standard, it just never really quite caught on.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm sorry, War of the Spark was a great set. Yeah. And the gods, especially Aketra, Kefi, and Ilharg were like the big, Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna miss him. I think, and let's take a moment and remember as he rotates out for the last time. So long, Gideon. Take care. You're dead. Stay dead.
You're dead, boy.
Stay dead. And Nicol Bolas. Stay dead.
He's not dead.
He better.
He's not dead.
Oh my gosh, that's something else. Somebody I just saw a text. The Gates. Bye Gates.
The Gates deck. Yeah, the Ram and the Colossus.
Not just that. Gates, the cards.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be so. Yeah, that's our rotation. So if there's anything you guys want us to mention, let us know. But I mean, that's
Pour one out.
Pour one out for everybody. So let's go into combat. And then we go back to main because Steve probably played a flash on us or a fog. So let's talk about. So, did you watch the Mythic Invitational yesterday?
Absolutely not.
Oh, that was classic. Did they finally put the videos up yet? I haven't even looked.
They did today. They put the videos up today. So for those of you who don't know what happened, over the last few days, they had the 2020 Mythic Invitational. Huge tournament.
Historic
$250,000 prize pool. It was a historic tournament in literal sense and a figurative sense. The format was historic. It was all a Magic Arena. Everybody was zooming in their stuff, and it's the way the tournaments have been for the last few weeks or months or years or forever, it seems. And so what they were going to do was, broadcast the top 8 yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to get on at a certain time, and something was going wrong. So all right, we're going to push it a half an hour. Yeah. And then they're like, all right, we're ready to go. Oh, wait, no, but we got to push another half an hour. And nope. And then and then we're gonna, nope, they didn't do it at all. So what they ended up having to do, because people were running into time zone issues, and they completely stopped what they were doing. They shut it down. So we're not doing it today. The players played their matches, recorded them on Zoom or whatever they were using, sent them to Wizards. Wizards put them all together, and then they had the commentary on top of all that when they played it today. So the tournament was played yesterday, and we had a winner. It was
Sultai Midrange.
Seth Manfield won with Sultai Midrange, so, to the surprise of everyone. And so they played it, and basically, like, these guys had to be quiet about it for an extra day. The tournament was over, and they couldn't say anything.
So Seth Mansfield, I honestly thought Gabriel Nassif was going to take it with the sacrifice. That deck looks stupid. Mm-hmm. Jund was all over this tournament. Like, that was the big story. Was Jund's sacrifice was everywhere. It was half the top 8.
Yeah.
It was, and it's pretty much, It's the sacrifice deck, Cauldron Familiar, Dreadhorde Butcher, Priest of Forgotten Gods, Blow
Although
Crusher.
Gregor Kowalski was playing a Jund Citadel deck, which is pretty cool.
But they threw Collected Company into it because, COVID. So, that was a thing. And then,
so what do you think happened there? I mean, you're in IT. What do you think happened? They were saying that the people recording could get their signal to Wizards, but Wizards couldn't get it out. They
were saying they couldn't go from their systems to their transmitter, which is funny because I'm like, transmitter? This is not radio. This is not television. There's no transmitter. There's a computer with a router in front of it that sends the data.
So, do you think their router shit the bed?
I think their computer shit the bed, or their network, probably, yeah. Now, it could be, and here's the thing. I want to give Wizards a pass, okay? I do, because I love that they're trying this. They could easily say, we're not doing anything. We're stuck, paper's dead until this COVID thing is over. Sorry, Charlie. But they're trying. And they're doing it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that also wants to say you have one job. Okay? The shit's supposed to work. Shit happens, and I work in IT. Things happen, and things happen at the worst time. Mm-hmm. And as long as you learn from it, as long as they take the time to learn what happened, my suspicion is that either something happened at the network level where they couldn't get the data from wherever everyone was transmitting to their transmitter, because what has to happen is, the way I understand it is, they're playing these games. I imagine there's got to be a delay so that nobody's, basically twitching while they're watching other people. So I got to imagine there's a 10, 15-minute delay, which would allow for them to start the match. It goes from, arena to some other system where, you've got Emma or whomever sitting there calling the match.
Right.
And that is mixed together in a timing thing and then transmitted as one transmission. When I say transmitted, I mean sent to Twitch, which is then sending it out. My suspicion is that somewhere between, because obviously they could communicate. Arena was up. They could play against each other because Arena was up, and they could record their particular match because Arena and Zoom were up. So the problem appeared to have been probably between the players and Wizards. And it's either from the players to Wizards or from Wizards to the commentators, and then out. So, I mean, here's my thinking. Stop. What they should be doing is you can socially distance I have to go to work. I have to go to my office. You could socially distance. Why in the world is Emma Handy sitting at her house in, somewhere in London or wherever, and Cedric is sitting at his house in LA? Why are we doing that? Fly your people in, put them in.
They can't do that, though.
They can fly. People are flying. Planes are flying.
Yeah, but a lot of international flights. A lot of people aren't coming to the US.
Okay, so maybe you don't have. Maybe you have Emma Handy just be a color commentator in between matches. Anybody who's international, you say, listen, anyone who we've dealt with before and can get to California, sit in our studio, and call the match, like you and I did. It's not like you and I called the Kerwin's matches from our house. We went to Kerwin's.
That was right before everything went to hell.
Right, but I mean,
yeah.
Send them there, okay? Because what I'm imagining is happening is that again, players to Zoom or whatever, players to Wizards, Wizards to commentators, commentators to Wizards, Wizards to Twitch. So you're kind of, if you can remove one of those bounces, which would be put the damn commentators socially distanced again. Put plexiglass between them. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what they were doing with the NFL yesterday.
Put them, and if the NFL can do it, so can Twitch, or so can Magic or Wizards. Just put them in a room where you control the network. So then all you've got to worry about is getting it from the players to your headquarters. And then your headquarters deals with the rest of it, and it's all local, and it's all on that network, and then you send it to Twitch.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give them somewhat of a pass to an extent, but I will say this. This is not new.
No.
They've been doing this for 6 months. There's more than enough time to come up with contingency plans for pretty much every situation that could possibly come up as far as network reliability, being able to broadcast, because if this was just like a qualifier event or whatever, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. This was the Mythic Invitational. This is supposed to be a huge tournament.
Or broadcast without commentary. Like, listen, we can't comment. We can't make this work right now. We're gonna. It's just the whatever. Or tell the players, hey, you're turning your mics on. And
yeah, but it's just it's one of those things where it's like, if this was the first or second time they were doing it, I'd be like, you expect some bugs, you expect some things to need to get ironed out. They haven't ironed it out yet, in my opinion.
Have they? They've had tech issues almost all the way along. Various times.
Audio issues, lag issues.
Like I do. I think that they need to simplify it a little bit. You cannot do what they were bouncing signals from the local players. I got to figure from the local players to Wizards, from the Wizards.
Local players from all over the world, mind
right?
You.
Local players to Wizards to commentators, from commentators back to Wizards to Twitch.
And I'll say this, and I'll say this too. Obviously, this is a Herculean effort to even have a tournament like this fire. Because, again, all over the world, multiple data streams coming in, all this stuff that they have to synchronize and get out. And for the most part, they do okay. But if you're going to run a tournament this big and hype it to be this big, it's a $250,000 prize pool. If you're throwing that kind of money at a tournament, you need to throw those kinds of resources on making sure your shit works.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a bad image
at the end
on
of the day, you're supposed to be this is supposed to be your premier thing. You're supposed to be about esports, yay. And I understand other esports have issues like this. Sometimes.
Not really. And not to the not the championships.
Maybe not to this extent, maybe not necessarily for the championship, but things do come up.
Right.
But this, again, you've had 6 months to figure this out. And I get that, a lot of stuff is going on. I get that this is not what you want to be doing, because nobody wants to be playing for $250,000 over Zoom, because heaven forbid your internet cuts out and you time out in the middle of the final. Because thank God that hasn't happened yet.
It's coming.
But it's coming, I'm sure.
Or worse, somebody rage quits, says their internet went out.
Yeah, or they do something to really... Well, there was, during one of the matches, somebody had a pop-up ad show up on their stream that asked them if they wanted to meet singles for sex.
I saw that.
And it's like, what the So it's like, there's got to be... You've had 6 months to figure this out. That's the biggest thing I come back to. You've
honestly,
had a lot of time to figure this out, to get it done right.
Honestly, I personally believe that, at least for the MPL, you send them hardware. Like, we are sending you a computer. We are sending you a monitor. We are sending you a headset. You are to load up Magic Arena, run only Arena on this. If a pop-up shows up, Mother Hucker, we're going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. You know, like even if it's like they say we're gonna, I mean, maybe for international customers it might be not so easy, but we're saying we're gonna call whatever your service provider is. Make sure you have the fastest and most secure internet connection that we can provide for you. We're gonna cover that for the duration, like for 1 month, just so that way the tournament's covered. So like, you call Comcast and say, I want my max speed, max upload download speeds, and all that bells and whistles for this guy.
All you have to do is you need to make a new profile on your computer, a Windows profile, on this that you use when you're streaming to us. It's a separate thing that you have Arena loaded into it. That would be the same thing, because pop-ups tend to be browser specific. They don't tend to be on the computer.
Right.
They're a result of you going to a different website. So they should be telling people you have to create a new profile on your computer. This profile is used only for this. Don't browse the internet on it, because if you get a pop-up, we're going to hold you responsible.
Yeah.
Because that is egg on their face.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was just, fairly innocuous, that it was a dating site. What if it was something about, white supremacy or something crazy like that?
What if it was porn? Like, not for nothing.
What if it was straight up porn?
My cousin Steve and I, okay, his son was 6, maybe 7. We actually had to put an ISA firewall at his house, okay, which is a Windows firewall, old school, like very hard to put together, but also like the best as far as like, content restriction. Because we're sitting there and him and I are playing Astronaut's Call on our laptops, and all of a sudden we hear Tyler going, and he's screaming like that, and he's banging the mouse. He's banging the mouse because in front of his Clifford game that he was playing was a woman sitting spread eagle so far you could see her kidneys. All right, and now him and I
oh my God.
cannot stop laughing. I mean, it's tragic because the boy is 6. He's looking at this going, he doesn't see that. He thinks to himself, this is in front of my Clifford the Big Red Dog. What the frack is going on here? Right. But Steve and I are like, whoa, you gotta... So we put together an ISA server.
And then explained this is where you came from.
Yeah, no, we didn't even explain that. But he knows now. I mean, this was 15 years ago. But that stuff happens. So they have to take chance. They have to do that. So I'm glad, the tournament's over. I'm going to be hoping that they start doing standard tournaments again soon because I'd really like to see where standard's going to go.
They're going to have to do it because it's post-rotation. That's what everybody's going to be doing.
So let's get into, real quick, let's pivot over to our internal historic tournament. We don't have a ton of time. So, but I want to talk about our historic tournament real quick. So we are now in round 3, which means we are down to the Elite 8.
Nice.
Or the Excellent 8, not the Elite 8. We don't want to get sued.
Quarterfinals.
Yes, quarterfinals. So the 8 players are pretty much, it's Dylan and versus Alice, Mark versus Steve, Nick versus Terrence, Scott versus John. So, yeah, Trayton was knocked out by Dylan. That was the big thing. Our champion with his bye was knocked out by Dylan.
The kiss of death strikes again.
The bye is the kiss of death, man. You do not want this bye. Alice took out Ted pretty handily. Steve is having a lot more fun this time. So
he wasn't one and done.
No, he's going into the quarterfinals. He's playing against Mark though, so we've got 2 of our patrons playing against each other. I think Nick and Terrence, Scott and John. Those are pretty good decks. I'm really looking forward to it. Get your games in, guys. We want to get you guys done in time for. Steve. The bye is bad luck.
Bye is very bad juju.
So. We're very excited, though. We're hoping to get you guys the box in time. So I'm trying to get you guys to play sooner than later so that, you get the box when it releases. Let's talk about real quick, other than that, don't forget, Wednesday is Commander Craft this week. Steve, me, Aramis, and Steve, are you playing Wednesday? He's in the chat. But Steve, Aramis, Anthony, and I are pretty much going to be playing Commander again, so you're not going to want to miss that. We had to go dark last week. Just family stuff came up, guys, that I had to deal with. And Steve will be in for that, so this will be a lot of fun. But with that, I mean, is there anything else you can think of, Aramis?
I mean, talking about Commander Craft, I'm going to have to, defend my 1-week winning streak, which is definitely going to end. I have a feeling I'm going to be the first one killed, but that's okay, because I am obligated to play Athreos again. I don't know what everybody else is playing, but I'm not going to be able to sneak up on people this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you speaking?
I was saying how I was going to lose.
I know.
And I'm okay with it.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get right to... All right, so let's, we want to remind you guys as we're rolling up our play mats and putting our cards back in the box and taking the pizza boxes over to the garbage because, damn it, your mother still doesn't work here. We want to remind you that both Aramis and I stream Arena on the PlanesTalkers podcast channel on Twitch. It's also where you can find our show when we're recording, as well as Commander Craft and everything else we do. Look up PlanesTalkers podcast on Twitch. You can also follow me on Twitch over there at Mindcrime73.
And if you wanted to follow me on Twitch, even though I never stream, I am at RMECWRX. Anytime that I am online now, it'll probably be on the PlanesTalkers podcast channel. So look for me there as well. RMECWRX is my handle on Twitch. PlanesTalkers podcast is where I'll be most of the time. But if Twitter is more your speed and you want to follow the show that way, see what we're up to, you can find us at PlanesTalkerPod on Twitter.
Yes, and I have my own personal Twitter as well. That's at WR Benson. I'm going to be honest, I don't tweet a lot. I tend to be on there really just because I can't stop following my favorite band and yours, Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy for this Twitter. And so I live for that band. I follow them. They're my favorite band. Right Said Fred, tell your friends. Yes. My personal Twitter there is at WR Benson. You can also like and follow us on Facebook. Look us up there. It's facebook.com/PlanesTalker. There's no S at the end. We left the last S off for savings. And we like and follow our page there. And our Discord, we want to remind you, which is really taken off. It's a great community of really cool people. You can find that at discord.planestalkerspodcast.com.
And finally, if you want to send us an email and either send us an idea for the show, let us know how we're doing, or if you have a question for either one of us, you can send us an email. The email address is podcast@planestalkerspodcast.com.
And I want to remind you that I do host another podcast on the television show DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It's called Legends TV Talk. We are on hiatus, obviously, because most television is. But you can find us on Facebook at Legends TV Talk. And in the hiatus, we are actually, and I actually stream it on Twitch on my personal page. We're playing Minecraft, and we're building DC stuff in Minecraft. So, of course, I went and built the X Mansion because that's, on brand. But you definitely want to check it out there. It's called Flashcraft is the name of the show we're doing. So look that up on Twitch there, or just follow me at the other page, but Legends TV Talk. But on that note, we want to thank you guys for hanging out and listening to us tonight. We really appreciate you guys listening to the show and being a part of things. We're very excited for next week. Will be episode 75, so you don't want to miss that. We'll talk about our pre-release and stuff like that. But Aramis and I, again, will be playing pre-release this Friday, so if you want in on that, let us know, as well as Commander Craft on Wednesday. So for Aramis Perez, this is Will Benson saying thanks again for being listeners and friends of the show. And remember to keep some of your mana untapped, because you never know when you need it. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye. And I'm out. All right, export project.
Saving, exporting.
Yeah, next week's like episode 75.
75.
I should try to find episode 0.
I don't know if it's anywhere.
I don't know either. It's a
legend. It doesn't.
That was definitely something.
Steve says they're bringing hard control on Wednesday.
Oh, great! That's awesome. I'm gonna have so much fun.
So I'm gonna be the first to die, but you're gonna take the longest to die because they're just gonna let you bleed.
Yeah. So be ready for some dirty hard control.
Dirty hard control. I mean, I like dirty hard control. I mean, counterspell is my safe word.
What the absolute fuck? I don't need to know that. Mine is pineapple. But
Actually, I hate pineapple.
I do too, actually. I'm just using it because I think it was The Flash said it in some movie with Amy Schumer, and it just finds it funny. Yeah. So
it's gonna be interesting to see. I actually was able to get, like I said, I got an Orzhov Signet, and I got my Mana Crypt. I'm super happy. So my mana base is looking pretty good. I gotta pick up some lands.
Fetch lands.
Maybe I'll open one.
Ooh, that's true. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be awesome.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I can't wait. We get our boxes Friday. So we'll do a pre-release, and then obviously you and I will stream at some point this weekend our openings. So
yeah,
I think the set booster opening is going to be better than the booster box, but
yeah, I think so too.
And you're going to open your collector boosters probably.
Yeah, probably.
You asshole! Can't believe you bought a freaking collector box. If they didn't have 2 box toppers, I wouldn't have done it. I'm tempted. My wife's got the headphones on. She can't hear me. I'm tempted.
You can get Cavern Souls, man.
I'm very, very, very tempted. Like very tempted.
It comes out to about 3 something after taxes.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna set up a GoFundMe.
Will wants a collector box, please. I mean, at the very least, if you end up buying a few collector boosters, you can get a foil expedition.
You know what? We got to have a talk with Steve. Steve, think about the content, Steve. Think about the investment of the content if we're opening collector boosters on stream. Now, you don't get to keep the cards. No, we want to keep the cards. Because that would be well, you can open it for us. Well, no, we don't want to do that.
We want the delicious cards. I mean, opening up that foil showcase Ugin was so nice.
Yeah, go F yourself. I just want to remind you that
I have so many Ugins.
So do I, actually. That I was amazed at how unrare Ugin was. I'm like, I have 4. I've got a play set. I don't know how this happened. But I haven't opened one damn Teferi yet.
Yeah, that was your unicorn.
And there are 9. What are there? 9 different Teferis.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I see Core 21 at Walmart, I buy a pack or 2. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me by now.
It is a mythic. But yeah, there's so many different ones that you would think that it would be easier to show up. You're probably better off buying collector boosters for
I'm
Core
probably
21.
just gonna buy at this point. I'm just gonna buy Teferi. I've bought enough 21 at this point. Yeah. I mean, I'm chasing, and I don't really need them. I don't think they're
not really being played.
I don't think they're sitting in. I don't think they're in a deck anywhere. So
what time, Steve wants to know?
I have no idea. We'll talk about it Wednesday. Yeah, we have to make sure that certain we have to check with our producers if we're going to be able to stream on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Our production staff.
Yep. I mean, if it's after 8 o'clock, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. It would be after 8. So, because I don't have kids. Our kids are gone this weekend. It's non-kid weekend. We're going to the Tans peoples.
And my kid's comatose at 8 o'clock nowadays. Anyway, he comes from school a friggin' zombie.
Good man.
He has homework for gym class.
Dude, I had AP gym in high school. I'm not kidding you. We had an AP gym.
Yeah, but he's in 1st grade and he has homework for gym class.
But it's part of like helping him become more.
I never had homework for gym class.
I did actually, because again, I was in AP gym.
Dude,
I actually had
1st grade.
I had 10 weeks. They gave us 10 weeks in AP gym of work study. Like I student taught a music class in my senior year of high school.
Yeah, but like you can at least write a complete. Well, I don't know about that, but.
Motherfucker, the one thing I can do is write. Don't even. Yeah. You know what? You're out of this schlag guy. Screw it. Steve's my new co-host.
he can barely write. He can't spell that well. I mean, granted, it's like a 3-step jumping jack thing he has to learn by next class. But it's like, what? Really? 1st grade? Gee, why would you cut gym class?
How would you cut gym class?
That's like the only class that's any fun.
Well, no, I mean, I had great fun in other classes, mostly because there were girls. Like, in fact, I didn't like gym class because there weren't any girls.
I had an interesting experience with a girl in gym class.
I did have girls in my AP gym class though, so that was kind of cool. And one of them was stone cold hot. Like, hi, honey. Stone
there was
cold hot.
Right here.
Yeah, she's
there was
right here.
there was a gym class that I was in, and there was this one girl who was in it.
Was she stone cold hot?
Stop it.
She was, yeah. And so we were playing volleyball.
And she was hot.
Yeah. And she jumped up to spike the ball, and she wasn't wearing a bra, and her shirt went up.
I've had that happen.
Yep. So I was like, oh, cool.
Actually, I've never had a problem with it. But here's something weird about me. I have if I was a mutant, I believe my mutant power is the ability to get women to reveal their breasticles. No problem.
William.
I was at a bar not a year ago. We went and saw Lettuce, okay? This band at some club down in Clifton Park with my friend Mike and I. Now, we're tipping a few back, obviously. We're having a good time. We're in the middle of the crowd and stuff. And all of a sudden, I look over, and there's a girl on her cell phone, right? With her boyfriend behind her doing this, like showing her boobs to somebody on her phone. And I immediately am like, all right, how you doing? Okay, then. And then I'm like, I can't leave it alone because I've got drunk muscles. So I lean over and I just go, thank you. She looks at me and she laughs at her boyfriend. And I'm like, I could literally get punched here. And he can't stop laughing. He's like, you dumb bitch.
Oh, wow.
And then my buddy Mike comes over. He's like, what happened? I'm like, this girl just lifted her shirt right there in front of me. And she's showing somebody. And he's like, how does it, where, you saw it? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
Jeez.
I love my mutant power. It's a beautiful thing. So I guess on that note, we should end the show before I get written. We are so losing sponsorship tonight.
Yeah.
We told Anne Frank Helen Keller jokes, and
You told the Anne Frank. I told the Ray Charles joke.
yes, you told the Ray Charles joke. I told the
Yeah. Before and after the show are R-rated. In between the show, PG-13.
right. And again, I just find it funny that so many people get Anne Frank and Helen Keller mixed up that I feel the need to further their. I know the difference. Okay, I read the books, both the books. I read The Miracle Worker. I read the Diary of Anne Frank.
I know the difference.
Okay, I read the books, but you know what? I want to further the idiocy of those who don't. So yes, if I can find a way to reverse those, I totally will. Every chance I get. My wife's in on the joke. She finds it funny. She's like, I know you know. She's like, and I know you're doing it just to mess with people. I married a good one.
Yeah, she's going to throw something at you.
No, she's not. She's actually agreeing with me. She's actually loving on her cat and watching, she's watching Outlander. She's watching boobies on the TV with Scottish people.
Ooh, boobies.
Yeah. So.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Is she old enough to be watching that?
I don't think
Parental
she
guidance
is.
is suggested,
Yeah, parental guidance is definitely
Viewer discretion
suggested.
is advised.
Yes. So, but yeah,
Oh, boy.
Outlander is nah. Which is funny because the guy who makes Outlander made Battlestar one of my favorite all-time shows. So I gave it a try. I'm like, it's Ron Moore. He Star Trek: The Next Generation. Then he made Battlestar Galactica. It's this is the best shows ever. No. Nope.
And yes.
She loves it because it's built for girls. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be sexist. I should go now.
Commander on Wednesday, guys.
Yeah, Commander on Wednesday and pre-release Friday. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching. And bye-bye.